To the world, you may be one person, but to one person, you may be the world. This is a quote written by Dr. Seuss. While millions of people worldwide know of his popular children's books, many people do not know who Dr. Seuss was. First, in this speech, I will begin talking about his early life and education. And then next, I will talk about his early career and life as a writer. Finally, I will talk about his later years and accomplishments. Dr. Seuss was born to Theodore Robert Giselle and Henrietta Seuss Giselle in Springfield, Massachusetts in 1904. He was born with the name Theodore Seuss Giselle, but many people knew him as Ted growing up. Giselle started kindergarten in 1908 at the age of 4½. He attended Forest Park and Sumner Avenue schools. As a child, Giselle loved reading and art. It was not until attending high school at Central High that Giselle began expressing his love of reading, writing, and art by submitting some of his work to the school newspaper. After high school, he attended Dartmouth University to pursue his degree in being an English professor. While at Dartmouth, he became the editor-in-chief of a humor magazine called The Jack-O-Lantern. Also, while in Dartmouth, it was the time during the Prohibition period that Giselle and a group of friends were caught drinking. Instead of rising to the harsh punishment of expulsion, the dean of Dartmouth decided to restrict Giselle from all extracurricular activities, and it was then that he was fired from the paper, Jack-O-Lantern. However, Giselle continued to write, but began signing his works under the name of Seuss. After graduating Dartmouth, Giselle went on to pursue his education in English literature at Oxford University in Oxford, England. It was there that he met his wife, Helen Palmer, and it was also there that Helen noticed that when Giselle got bored, he would doodle, and his doodling was quite phenomenal. Helen had actually encouraged him to pursue his career in drawing. Giselle ultimately dropped out of Oxford, and after dropping out, Giselle and Helen moved to the United States. After moving to the United States, it was not long before Giselle quickly got to work, and he submitted much of his drawings to magazines, numerous publishers, and even advertising agencies. Giselle knew that he needed to move to New York, however, in order to gain a better chance in writing in his drawing career. Not long after moving back to his hometown of Springfield, Massachusetts, from England, did Giselle and his future wife, Helen, move to New York. After arriving in New York, he accepted a position as a writer and illustrator for a humor magazine called Judge. Even though he had not yet earned his doctorate degree, it was under his first work in Judge that Giselle signed his name, Dr. Seuss. After his first publication with Judge, Dr. Seuss married his longtime girlfriend, Helen, on November 29, 1927. Dr. Seuss began submitting his work to numerous magazines, and his work appeared in magazines such as Vanity Fair, Liberty, and Life. Dr. Seuss and his wife began earning a much higher income, and it was at that time that they pursued some of their dreams in traveling. They never had children. His first book was written in 1936, and to think that I saw it on Mulberry Street. I will read a small passage from this book. The mayor is there, and he thinks it is grand. He raises his hat as they dash by the stand. The mayor is there, and the aldermen too, all waving big banners of red, white, and blue. And that is a story that no one can beat, when I say that I saw it on Mulberry Street. With a roar of its motor, an airplanes appear and dumps out confetti while everyone cheers. And that makes a story that's really not bad, but it still could be better. Suppose that I add a Chinese boy who eats with sticks, a big magician doing tricks, a 10-foot beard that needs a comb. No time for more, I'm almost home. I swung round the corner and dashed through the gate. I ran up the steps, and I felt simply great. For I had a story that no one could beat, and to think that I saw it on Mulberry Street. This book, was rejected an astonishing 27 times before it was published by Vanguard Press in 1927. And after his first publication with Vanguard Press, Dr. Seuss went on to write several more children's books. It was not until 1940, in the book Horton Hatches the Egg, that Dr. Seuss introduced many characters that defined his books. During World War II, Dr. Seuss took a change and decided to write political cartoons instead of children's literature. Even though Dr. Seuss was too old at the time to go into battle for the Army, he instead decided to write under the documentary division. He served in the Army from 1942 to 1946. And after the war, Dr. Seuss and his wife, Helen, decided to move to La Jolla, California. Together they purchased an old observation tower where Dr. Seuss had been known to write and illustrate for more than 8 hours a day. During this time, he had written such books as Horton Hears a Who. It was not until later in his career, in 1957, that Dr. Seuss published two of the most famous books, The Cat in the Hat and How the Grinch Stole Christmas. The Cat in the Hat, and I'm going to read a small passage out of The Cat in the Hat. We looked, then we saw him step out in on the mat. We looked, and we saw him, the cat in the hat. And he said to us, "Why do you sit there like that? I know it is wet." Sorry. I know it is wet, and the sun is not sunny, but we can have lots of good fun that is funny. "I know some good games we could play," said the cat. "I know some new tricks," said the cat in the hat. "A lot of good tricks. I will show them to you. Your mother will not mind at all if I do." Then Sally and I did not know what to say. Our mother was out of the house for the day. But our fish said, "No, no. Make that cat go away. Tell that cat in the hat you do not want to play. He should not be here. He should not be about. He should not be here while your mother is out." Now, now, have no fear, said the cat. "My tricks are not bad, said the cat in the hat. "Why, we can have lots of good fun, if you wish, with a game that I call Up, Up, Up with a Fish." "Put me down," said the fish. "This is no fun at all." "Put me down," said the fish. "I do not wish to fall." "Have no fear," said the cat. "I will not let you fall. I will hold you up high, as I stand on a ball, with a book on one hand and a cup on my hat. But this is not all I can do," said the cat. It was at the time that this book was published in 1957 that the public and the publishers realized that the way that Dr. Seuss had written changed the way that children could learn, and that was through rhyming. Almost everyone that you know knows either The Cat in the Hat or How the Grinch Stole Christmas. In 1958, Dr. Seuss became founder of Beginner Books Incorporated, which later on in 1960 became division of Random House, the main publisher of most of Dr. Seuss's works. Dr. Seuss wanted to create a series of books for beginning readers, helping to teach colors, letters, and numbers. During the 1960s, within this series included such books as One Fish, Two Fish, Red Fish, Blue Fish, and also the book Hop on Pop, which you can see that my child loves so much that they tried to draw a picture for Dr. Seuss. Dr. Seuss also offered important messages to children, such as how to help take care of the environment in the book The Lorax. During the prime of his career, Dr. Seuss's wife, Helen, suffered from cancer and emotional distress due to his infidelity with a longtime family friend, Audrey Dimmond. Helen ultimately committed suicide in 1957. In 1958, Dimmond and Seuss were married. Dr. Seuss still went on to write numerous successful books throughout his career. And in 1984, Dr. Seuss even received a Pulitzer Prize. He received this prize for offering children educational and imaginative literature for almost 50 years. Dr. Seuss also went on to receive Emmy Awards for his works such as Halloween is Grinch Night and The Grinch Grinches the Cat in the Hat. The last book Dr. Seuss wrote before his death was Oh, the Places You'll Go, which was published in 1990. This became a bestseller. Dr. Seuss suffered from oral cancer and died in 1991 at his home in La Jolla, California, by his wife's bedside. However, his books, animations, and quotes will forever live on. It was not until later on that Audrey discovered a last piece of Seuss's work in 2013, What Pet Should I Get? This book was published in 2015. Even after Seuss's death, his works continued to inspire and captivate people's attention, not just children, but adults too. If it were not for his perseverance, we would not have these unique books that offer rhyming, educational, learning, and imaginative explorations. I end this speech with one of my favorite quotes. Don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened. Thank you.